Hello 12A. Okay, so we should now be the 10th of April, period 3. And in accordance with the class planner, which I have sent you, I'm going to give you some feedback on your topic helpers. Now, I was going to give some generalised feedback, but I've noticed everyone has some similar but also some different problems with it. And as this is your final seminar, and I'd really love to give you really high marks, and this is stage 1, I think it's important that sort of we just take a quick step back. Sorry, got very dry lips. We're going to take a quick step back. I'm going to go through, as you can see, everybody that I have here. I'm still missing Smith, Yuri, and one other person. I can't remember who. Hopefully you would have gotten that to me by now, and I'll just have to send you some individual feedback if I'm displeased with it. So let's start with Alan. Okay, so first of all, coronavirus is out. I think we've all heard about it. It's very topical. I know it's very much in the zeitgeist, but I've had various of you wanting to present on that. And I think there's, as much as it's a difficult time and a horrible thing, I don't think any of us psychologically really need to hear any more about it. It's let's move away from it, and hopefully the world moves away from it very soon as well. So and also it's a very easy topic. So Alan, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say let's not have that. You've given a good amount of information for the other one, so if you want to have a look at what else you've done and give me some feedback, it will tell me which one you'd like to do. I can see here I'm concerned that we've got a different font. I'm worried that you've copied and pasted that. And in the research, is there enough information for these guys? You've only given plenty of reports available on the internet. Like, it's not, haven't really made the effort that I'd be looking for. But animal recreation activities, that would be interesting. It could be interesting. We could work on that. And AI, always a very interesting topic as well. Okay, so yeah, let's move away from the coronavirus. If you want to do consumer behaviour, that would be very interesting. I can see that you've got a lot of information there, so thank you for that. Let's have a look at the next one. Whoa! Okay, sorry guys. What's happened? Okay. My computer's not happy. We've been doing a lot of work today. There we go. Okay, so here we've got Amber's. Amber, I'm a bit disappointed that you couldn't come up with 6 or 7 topics. Again, I want you guys to think out of the box. What are you passionate about? What would you love to learn more about? I mean, the world is a fascinating place, and it's a great opportunity for you to be able to tell your classmates something that they might not have been aware of, something that you'd like them to be interested in. So let's have a look down. I think you were going with heartbreak, so after a breakup, which I really like. It's a really a fantastic take, and I think it's going to be a really, really interesting seminar. So well done. So I'm happy for you to move forward. You don't need to make any changes. It's going to be very cool. I look forward to it. Thank you, Amber. Oh, for God's sake. Sorry. Okay, let's have a look at Carrion. Karen, what you've done is you've actually taken the topics that were provided to you. So you haven't actually done what I've asked you to do, which indicates to me that you didn't actually watch the research, the first seminar class. I would recommend that you go back, you actually listen to the seminar class, because I can't accept this. It's, yeah, it's, this is just all of the examples. I haven't got anything from you. You can choose your own topic, and I'd like to see something that you're actually interested in, okay? So you're going to have to redo that and send that back to me, okay? So Carrie-Anne will need to be redo. Mr. Carol. Okay, Carol, good. You've given sort of a lot of different options, which is fantastic. Also, I'm loving this font. It's a very nice font. Look at that. And China's, yeah, I saw this earlier, the high-speed rail. I think this will be really interesting. I would really like you to get into a lot of depth into it. Some comparisons, some hardships, make sure that's a motive. And I want you to have a think about how you can make it relevant to all of your classmates as well. So that's really good. And we're going to talk about the seminar proposal document next. So once I've gone through all of your feedback, we'll talk about the seminar proposal document, and that'll go into greater detail about what I'm requiring from you. Christina, I missed you as well. Sorry, my computer's working super slowly today. Christina. Hello, Christina. All right, so you were liking procrastination, decayed tooth, and that word. I'm concerned that you were interested in decayed tooth, but thank you very much, Christina. Procrastination, guys, a lot of you for your TED Talk summaries did procrastination. We watched that together, so it's technically not doing the extra work. So please go the extra mile for me. You were going for LaShio. That's fine, but again, I want you to go into a lot of depth with it, okay? So we need to get into a decent amount of depth. So I like what you're suggesting for making it interesting. That's good, because you're looking at using different resources and different ways to do that. However, I want to you know, the foundation of it. Where did it come from? What is it? Why is it important? Why is it relevant? Why is the audience interested in it? Has it got any cultural impacts? Are there any funny stories about it? So really getting into depth. So make sure that you think that you've got enough for a good 10 minutes, and that there's going to be a discussion at the end. So remember, we're going to have a 3 to 5 minute discussion at the end for the seminar, okay? But not bad. Thank you, Christina. Now, press the wrong button. Heaney, I think I already had you open. Maybe not. I'll go with Jeremy while we're here. Okay. Jeremy, you can't choose my topic. This was just my example topic, okay? So yeah, you need to think of something would be relevant to you. To be honest, the concept of panic buying I think is really interesting, and you could associate that with the concept of groupthink. You remember from 006 when they talked about the Challenger, you know, the rocket ship that went up and blew apart, and the concept of groupthink, that people stop thinking for themselves and start going with. So everyone in Australia, everyone's just gone off and bought all of the toilet paper. There's just no, you go into the shop, there's no toilet paper at all. Also medication, there's a limit on how much you can buy, and they've had to do a lot of that. I don't know if they did it in China. So I think that the panic buying, the psychology behind that, I think it's really relevant at the moment. I think it would be a really good option for you, but I'd like you to come back to me about that. Have a bit more of a think. But yeah, what I did at the top, that was just, if I was going to be doing a seminar, that's probably what I would be doing it on now, because I'm interested in that kind of thing. Okay. Although I did say COVID-19 because I didn't think it was going to be as bad when I wrote this. I thought it would go away, but it has not gone away, and here we are. Well, here I am in Australia. Yay. Okay, so we've done, we'll have a look at Heaney. Okay, Heaney. again, so many of you have actually sent this to me and you've not told me which one you're going to go with. As I've said, coronavirus, not an option. We're not going to, enough with the coronavirus. Harry Potter, I mean, that could actually be an interesting one if you looked at the cultural impact of Harry Potter, whether it was banned in some countries or some areas. I know that some religious groups actually banned it. If you watch the movie Jesus Camp, the documentary, in the Midwest America, they call it the Bible Belt, they've completely banned it there, and why. So again, you can pick pretty much anything so long as you're going to go into depth in it and make it relevant to your audience. Does Trump have a head problem? That could actually be very interesting. You could look at using Trump as a case study, but the psychological tendencies of people in power. So you'll notice that people in power often have narcissistic personality disorder. So that could be really interesting, seeing, or even, you know, why is Trump president? How did that bloody happen? So yeah, I mean, those two, Harry Potter or the Trump could be okay, but we're going to have to build on that. And I'll show when we do the seminar proposal. Okay, so thank you for that. So we're moving on to Kellogg. Yeah. Kellogg, you're a bit like when you're saying about the ideas, you've literally just written one word. So I would expect a little bit more development into that. But you've, yeah, your topics are way too big for a seminar. It has to be very, very specific. So like if CUNY wanted to do about Donald Trump, or it would have to be very specific. You couldn't do one on just, you know, whether he has a mental disorder. You'd have a look at presidents having mental disorder. So I mean, what if you're going to do photography? You can't even do photographic art because there's so many different types and genres of photographic art. So maybe you want to look at the transference from analog to digital and what the impact has been, and maybe you know what, you know, which one's true art and which one's not, Photoshop and the influence of that. You could do one on Photoshop and whether how that's actually changed the concept of photography and art. Is there a photography industry for artists anymore? So you need to have a little bit more of a think about that. Music, again, and literature, they're so big, the topics are just way too big. You're not going to be able to do a seminar based on that. So I want you to narrow it down, think about specifically what you're interested in. If you want to talk about the type of music, that DJ music that you do, I'd be happy if you wanted to give us a history of bass and drum, or I don't know what you call it, but if you wanted to do that, then that would be specific enough for you to be able to do a seminar. Okay, so what I need you to do is look at your topics, narrow it down. Again, it's going to be a 10-minute seminar. You're going to have to talk for a while, but it needs to be really, really specific. You can't tell me all of the history of music in 10 minutes. And remember that there is going to be a discussion at the end of it. But generally speaking, I quite like the concepts. That I'd be interested to hear about any of those topics. But again, let's be a bit more specific. Mary in Thailand, hello. I hope that Thailand is going well and that you're safe and enjoying all of the delicious Thai food. It's my favorite food in the world. Mary's going to come back and she's going to make all of us green chicken curry, aren't you, Mary? Thank you, Mary. All right. So again, no coronavirus, AI is way too big. Social media is also way too big. So we're going to have to narrow that down a bit, but let's look at the details that you've got. Scottish Fold, okay, so you wanted to do AI, an innocent victim. Okay, so yeah, this could be interesting. As I said before, we'll have a look at the seminar proposal document. I'll talk to you in a bit more detail, and then we can kind of break down exactly what you're trying to get. So you're actually being a bit pro AI by the looks of things, which is a really interesting take. I usually think AI means that they're going to take over the world and we're all going to die, which is kind of the general concept of it. Okay, let's have a look at next. We've got Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca, so you've got the baby issue in China and low birth rate. I don't know if those two are connected. Coffee culture in China is interesting. Yeah, I've looked at yours before. Yeah, it should be very interesting. I'll be interested once you've done the research where you're going to go with it, whether you're going to yeah, it'll be interesting, but I think we can make this a really emotional and really relevant and a very moral, a good moral debate about sort of what should happen and why it should happen, and comparing that as well into the overall population. Sort of, I know that you guys have got an aging population, so I'd love to see at the end in your discussion, we could have a really good debate about that. So yep, that's fine. You don't have to do anything. And again, we'll talk about the seminar proposal document in just a minute. Have a look at Steve. Where did you find out about kibbutzism? That's quite cool. Do you want to go to a kibbutz one day, Steve? Is that's what? Excellent. I wonder how you're going to make this interesting. I don't know, are you going to talk sort of going to holograms, or I think you could probably make it quite emotional as well, given the scenario that we've been in. I would like to keep away from going on about the COVID, but definitely the fact that there has been maybe a change in, or there may be a change in workplace management moving forward, and also education moving forward because of what we've dealt with. So the other two topics I like better, but it is your seminar, so you do whichever you prefer. But yeah, okay. So again, we'll do the proposal, and we'll see where you go. So we're going to now break it down even further, so that we can work out whether whether everybody's topic's going to sort of meet all of the criteria. Tina. Again, I don't know, which one do you want to do? So you haven't told me which one you're going to do. So you've got a good looking people, Chinese families, parents control their children's studying life. I mean, this might be an interesting cultural one. Yeah, so that family control would be a more cultural one, but really you need to let me know which one you'd actually like to do, and then I can give you some more specific feedback, okay? So please indicate which one is actually really of interest to you. Again, just trying to think a little bit outside of the square and outside of your immediate existence. I mean, you can't do this one because it's just COVID all over again, but otherwise you're talking about what people look like. I think we've moved away from that comparatively, unless you want to compare different cultures and whether physical looks do influence success. It might be an interesting psychological study. I don't know, but indicate what you'd like to do, and then we can go from there. And last but not least, Yuke. All right. Okay, so the potential of VR technology, yeah, I mean, that could be interested in what we can actually do with it. I'd be interested to see that you look beyond entertainment, which you've indicated, doing medical projects, that sort of thing. Yeah, there'll be heaps of information on that. So now we'll have a look at the seminar proposal document and see what we're going to be doing next for your class. Okay, so seminar proposal. All right, so I'll show you what you're going to be doing, and then I'm going to give you an example. So I'll show you what I actually wrote. Keep in mind that I did write this a fair while ago, and since then the coronavirus has just gone mad. Yeah, I just thought it would be in China and go away the same as Ebola or swine flu and something like that, but it didn't. So yeah. All right. So overview of your topic proposal. So, okay, this is what I'd like to do. Your thesis statement. You guys should be really good at thesis statements now. The same as with your essays, you need a thesis statement. So you've got some direction for your actual seminar. And what do I want the outcome of my seminar to be? So what do you want your audience to walk away with? Maybe you're going to talk about global warming and you'd like to influence them to recycle more, or to take less plane flights, or to just be more eco-friendly. You might do it on animal welfare, and you hope that people will walk away not buying sort of little turtles and little chickens off the street in order to sort of to fight against that kind of behaviour. Is there enough research available? Yes, no. And then just give some examples. So you could use BBC or the World Health Organization or the United Nations websites. So where are you going to get your information from? Or are you going to interview people? Also absolutely fine. The areas of research that you'll complete. So we can look at different, both from a different perspective, so putting different glasses on and considering your topic from those different points of view. I would really like to see that you're able to look at it from more than one perspective and get out of your own mind and out of your own perception or belief and look at it from another point of view as well. So you might do interviews or read previous interviews. You might look at it from a historical point of view, an economic point of view, social, political, cultural, pop culture as well. So there's a difference between a culture of a society and the popular culture. Like a few years ago, it would have been Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber would have been the pop culture aspect. Looking at it from an environmental point of view, geographical point of view, and even a biological point of view. Why are you interested? And I think, oh no, even psychological point of view would be interesting as well. Why am I interested in this topic? How am I going to make it interesting to the audience? And initial ideas about the 5-minute discussion at the end of the seminar, okay? And this is going to be your seminar topic proposal. So you're going to complete this and send it to me. We can then have some discussions or writing to one another on WeChat just to get it as specific as possible. Once we've done that, then we're going to move on to the research stage, okay? Right, so that's your seminar proposal. And then I just want to give you an example of my expectation. Again, all of this goes toward your GPA. Just going to double check that it's sharing properly. Very good. Okay, so this is mine. Again, I apologize, I did do it a little while ago. Overview, I said coronavirus is not bad enough, but the reaction of people to it has had really huge economic, social, and political impact. However, it's not so much the virus itself, more the role of social media and its influence on the community. Again, please keep in mind, this is before it went international, so I do apologize. This is a very good example of the fact that when you're doing your research, you need to look at the date because the world can move very, very quickly. So this situation highlights the major issue of social media role in spreading misinformation and its part in creating mass hysteria. My topic sentence, and as you know, a topic sentence doesn't have to just be one sentence. So I've got about 3 sentences, including the background, my purpose, and what I want the outcome to be. So the Wall Street crash was a result of mass hysteria. Many would concede that we as a society have come a long way from this. However, social media's reporting on coronavirus and the resulting behaviours of readers indicate there has been little change. It is essential that we curb the impact of social media on society to prevent future mass hysteria. So what do I want my outcome to be? So I want my audience to realise the importance of not believing everything they read, to not take a headline as truth and to think critically. Also, I want them to analyse what's happened in recent months and the impact of people's behaviour on every aspect of life. Is there enough research available? Yes, I found articles about social media's reporting on coronavirus and proof that there was misinformation. Journal articles by sociologists on the impact of social media, also groupthink, many relevant new articles, and specific examples using Twitter and Facebook. So the areas of research that I would complete is historical. I would have a look at the Wall Street crash because I think that's interesting to compare those two. Economic, I'd look at the mass hysteria resulting in a run on products, resulting in a stop of tourism, stock market issues as well. I'm going to have a look at it from a political perspective, in terms, in particular, the issues between China and America that have been the result of all of these behaviours, and then finally cultural, so how people behaving toward one another, and racism toward Chinese people in Canada, etc. Again, this was a little while ago, so hopefully that has resolved itself. Why am I interested in this topic? I'm just really sad to see the way people are behaving. They're referring to Facebook as their news source. I saw this on Facebook. They're saying we need to get back to being critical thinkers. And how will I make it interesting? I'm going to do examples of tweets from Trump, which are always hilarious and completely wrong, examples of misinformation in social media, and use humour as well as shock. So I'm going to use clips from Fox News and photos of people buying all of the toilet paper. And any ideas about the 5-minute discussion at the end. So I'm going to look at what the solution is and try and get my audience to engage with me about that. So ideas are like educating people to be critical thinkers, monitor social media, so censorship, and that would be a very controversial discussion, and suggestions from the audience. Okay. So it's nice and detailed. I've got a really good idea of where I want to go. I would send that on to my teacher or to my lecturer, and they can let me know yes, no, or maybe you could consider this or consider that. All right. So this is the kind of thing that I would like to receive from you. I think I've said I would like this handed in on Monday. Okay. So if you can get that to me on Monday, the 13th of April, I can give you some feedback and then we can move on to the next stage. Okay, I'm going to stop talking for 5 minutes. Thank you very much. Those of you that need to make some changes to your topic research helper, please get them through to me as soon as possible, and start working on your seminar topic proposal. Okay, I will see you again in the next class.